Welcome back to my channel, and in this video we are just going to talk about how we can configure router as a DHCP server, right? So first of all, let me make you understand with the concept DHCP, right? So DHCP stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, right? So what is the use of DHCP, right? So basically it assigns the IP address to the end device automatically, right? So when we talk about DHCP, it works on a process called DORA process, right? So whenever a device connect to the network, it looks for a DHCP server. So it sends a discover message into the network, right? And if the device is able to find the DHCP server, then DHCP server offer one IP address to the end device. Then that end device request for the IP address to the DHCP server, and DHCP server responds with a IP address in the form of acknowledgement, and it sends it to the end device, right? So this is how this DHCP works. So in this lecture we are just going to see how we can configure router as a DHCP server, and we will be adding some end devices, and we will further see whether the end devices are able to get the IP from the DHCP, right? Apart from this, we are also going to exclude certain IP address from the DHCP pool. What would be the purpose of excluding certain addresses? Because you must know that like there are certain devices like the server, like the printers, where we cannot afford to get the IP address every time the system boots up, right? Because you know that like whenever we do the installation of any printer, then we should have one static IP assigned to that particular printer, right? So that it will always be connected to that only, so that there would not be any downtime, right? Because if every time the printer or the server will take the IP from the DHCP, then there would be communication issue. And in the case of the server environment, it is not possible, like, because if you configure the server Windows server, then it works with a fixed IP, right? Because otherwise it can create an issue. So in those cases we just need to exclude certain IP addresses from the DHCP server. Those IP needs to be assigned to those devices manually. So all those things we are just going to see it in drill. So without wasting any time, let's get into the packet tracer, and then we'll see how we can configure the DHCP server in a router, right? So let me just remove this, and we will do it as a fresh, right? So let me just add one router into this environment. I'm just going to take this router, right? Let me just name it as Dubai, right? So let me just configure one DHCP pool here. I'll just go to the CLI. I'm hoping that you are already aware about these features, like it is asking for the initial configuration dialog box. If you have watched my videos, then you must be through with this. Enable configure terminal, right? Host name, I'm just going to assign the host name to this router, right? Dubai. Now guys, what we need to do, we just need to create one DHCP pool here, right? So IP DHCP pool, right? This is the command, and we just need to give one name to my pool. Let's say IP pool. You can give any name, right? IP pool. Then you just need to define the network, right? From which class you want the from which class you assign your end devices to get the IP address, right? So in this case, I'm just going to take class C, 192.168.1.1, right? 1.0, right? And the mask. This is the network I'm talking about, right? Then I just need to define the default gateway, default router, I mean to say. Default router is going to be this. I'm going to assign the IP address to my router, which would be 192.168.1.1. I'm going to write the configuration now. Configuration has been written. Now let me just take one switch so that we can connect the end devices here. I'm just going to select 2960C switch. Let me just make the connection between the router and the switch. Right, so my interface is connected to FA0/0, where I just need to assign the IP address, right, so that it can assign the IP address to the end devices, right. Interface FA0/0, IP address 192.168.1.1, and the subnet mask, as you know that subnet mask for class C is 255.255.255.0. This is /24 CIDR. Let me write the configuration. Let me just make this port up node by this command. Now my port is in the upstate, right. So I'm done with this. Let me just add few devices here. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 desktops. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 desktop, 4 laptops, right. So let me just arrange it. Let me just make the connection. I'm just going to select the automatic cable to make the connection. One second guys, please hold on. I'm back guys. So let me just make the connection to my laptop also. One second guys. So this is the topology, right. Now I want all these devices to take the IP from the DHCP, right. No manual IP would be given to these machines, right. So let us see if we are able to get the IP from the DHCP. I'll just go to this desktop IP configuration and I'll click on DHCP. As you can see this guys, my machines are able to get the IP from the DHCP. This IP has been assigned to my first device 192.168.1.2, and this is the other device. This is taking 3, and 4 is going to be assigned to this device. 5, it should pick 5. 5. Let me just see, it should pick up 6. So guys, I am just going to exclude certain IP addresses from the DHCP pool, right, because I may have to assign few IPs to my some of the devices. 7. So once I'm done with this, I'm going to perform that excluded command, right. I will exclude it. 8 and 9, right. So IP has been assigned by the DHCP, right. Now what I want is, I don't want to assign 1 and 2 to these devices, right. So I'm going to exclude IP DHCP excluded address 192.168.1.2, 192.168.1.4. So guys, I'm just going to exclude 2 of the IP address, 2, 3, 4, 3 IPs basically, right. I don't want my DHCP to assign these IP to my end devices, right. So I'll say enter. I will write the configuration. Earlier this device has picked up the IP address as 2, right. So my DHCP should not assign this IP address if I'll refresh it. See this, it is picking up 10 directly. Let us see this one. So this should pick 11, and this should pick 12. Now we'll come to the fourth device, and we'll see whether that device is going to keep that IP as it is, or it is going to renew the IP, right? See this, guys, see the difference. This device is able to get the same IP address because its lease time has not been expired. So you can clearly see that 234 IP address 192.168.1.2, IP address 192.168.1.3, IP address 192.168.1.4 have been excluded from the DHCP pool, right? So guys, I hope that I have made you understand well, and if you still have any doubts or if you have any concern, then you can put it down in the comment section. I would be more than happy to answer your queries, right? Again, I would request every one of you, if you like the content, if you're liking my videos, I request you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that you'll be getting all the notification of my upcoming videos, right? I thank you once again and hope to see you soon in my next video. Thank you.